starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lumada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, it brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lumada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lumada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, a pleasure to be here with you. Happy Friday, wherever you're joining us from. Thank you indeed that you're here with us. I hope you're ready for a wonderful story. I hope you enjoy it. And yes, I'm looking forward to it. And I know that we have a good book with us today. Another great one. Another one that celebrates diversity, celebrates individuality, and of course, what that brings to the collective. Thank you so much for being here, and absolutely appreciate you. I hope where you are well. I hope you're feeling loved. I hope you're feeling cared for, and I hope that you know that we care indeed for you. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Story Time, and thank you once again. Let us see who is with us, but before then too, let us see what book we have. Another beautiful one coming back to Story Time after a long time, and this one is Mabel, a mermaid fable. Indeed, this one coming to you from ROWBOAT WATKINS and Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Welcome, and good morning. Thank you for joining in. I am glad we're here. We've had some amazing books this week. Of course, yesterday we were looking at Chadwick Forever. We also looked at some amazing boats and all kinds of things that float with the different lights at night. And yes, it has been a great week. We also looked at some elephants in Tula Tula. Thank you so much for joining in. And of course, we also looked at What Color is Night, coming to you from Grant Snyder, and that was on Monday. Thank you so much for joining in for all those amazing stories, but we do have one more today. Mabel, a mermaid fable from ROWBOAT WATKINS, coming up very shortly. Thank you so much for joining in. Please let us know where you are and who is joining in with you and how it is where you are, of course. Thank you indeed for being here. Out here in Oakland today, sunny, and it is going to be hot. We're looking at about 85. So if you're out here in Oakland, please be sure to protect yourself, and of course check the weather for where you are and see what you need to do, what you need to get with you as you head out that door, if you are indeed heading out. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, send us your recommendations. It is always a pleasure to hear from you, but also it is always great to also get those recommendations from you and see what stories we should be bringing to Story Time. Thank you for being here, and I am excited that you're here with us. Next week, we have another great lineup coming up, so please just look out for that one as well. This weekend, everything will be up, and you can see what's coming to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining in. Let us see one more time who is with us this morning and ready to enjoy a wonderful story. Thank you indeed for joining in. How are you doing, Amanda? Thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, hope that you're feeling better. Thank you for being here. I'm glad that you're feeling better. And you say good morning from Bia and yourself. Well, thank you so much. And you say excited to finally catch up with the live. Big hugs and happy Friday, friends. Well, we hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for being here, and glad that you're feeling better. Thank you for being here. Baby Bia, hugs for you. Thank you so much. And you're joining us from out in Washington. Thank you so much indeed. Good morning to you, Amanda West. How are you doing today? Good to see you as always. Amanda, Sarah, and Nathan in Rainy Lou. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you're having the best of fun out there in St. Louis. Thank you so much for joining in. We love mermaids in this house, so we're excited for today's story. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I am glad we keep bringing little bits that excite excite you. Thank you so much indeed. I love this one, and I hope that you do too. Indeed, if you remember it, it is a good one indeed. Thank you for joining in. And how is camp going? I hope it is going very, very well. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I know whether the recordings or live here with us, I know it is a busy time for you, but I appreciate you being here. It is always good to have you in our company. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning. Good morning. Marietta, how are you doing today? And you say good morning from sunny and cool Massachusetts. Thank you so much indeed. That does sound lovely. Thank you so much. Love listening to Story Time when I'm in great studio. Well, thank you so much indeed. Absolutely appreciate that. Happy that we're not a distraction. And you say happy Friday to everybody. Well, happy Friday to you, Marietta. And of course, Henry, when you're back, happy Friday to you as well. Keep getting stronger. Thank you so much for being here on Story Time. And we do have a lovely book indeed with us, A Mermaid Fable. And this one is Mabel, coming to you from ROWBOAT Watkins. And of course, being read with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Yes, this one coming to you as we continue to celebrate Pride Month this time on Story Time. Thank you so much for joining in and welcome. Auntie Pam, how are you doing with the homeschooling folk? Swimming lessons this summer. Well, I hope they enjoy them. It is indeed, fun, but also an important thing to learn. Thank you so much for joining in and sharing. Why aren't you at the swimming lessons, Auntie Pam? Thank you so much for joining in. Glad you're here. And of course, we miss Braylon and Chad, and hopefully they catch us live soon sometime. Thank you so much for joining in. And I hope you enjoy today's story. Thank you so much for joining in. All right, here we go. Before we get started with our story, a short message, and we'll be right back. Thank you for being here, friends, and we're getting ready for our story. See you on the other side of this message.
Hi, my name's Christine Mitchell-Adams. I'm a mama and an artist, and I believe that books are a great way for children to have access to the arts on an everyday basis, which is why I believe that programs like Storytime with Mr. LaMotta are so important.
Welcome back, and thank you, Chrissy. Indeed, we know the arts, the importance of the arts in schools, and just different places that our kids can have access to is important. And I hope that we continue to hold our leaders accountable in our communities and continue to push that the arts be included, and whatever that form is, the different forms in them. I think we've mentioned this before, like they're not enrichments, they should be part of the core curriculum. Let's keep holding people accountable, and let's keep hoping that funds are raised in order to prioritize the arts in schools and in places for our kids. Thank you so much for joining in. Mabel, A Mermaid Fable. Here we go. This one coming to you from ROWBOAT Watkins. And of course, we're reading it with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Yes, indeed. Here we go. I love that name. I've said it before. ROWBOAT Watkins. All right. Mabel, A Mermaid Fable. This one written and illustrated by ROWBOAT Watkins, and we're reading it with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. What was weird about Mabel wasn't her mustache. What was weird about Mabel wasn't her mustache. Her dad had a mustache. Her mom had a mustache. Her big sisters had matching mustaches. Even her baby brother had a tiny baby mustache. Then what was it? What was weird about Mabel was that she had no mustache at all. And she would think all sorts of negative things about herself. I am nude, she would think. Mabel tried hiding her nose behind jaunty shells and by wearing seaweed falsies. Oh. But this only made her feel like a clown. And others called her names, like Nudibranch, Nudibranch, Nudibranch. Oh. I must say, too, that this book has 2 words that I find perhaps they'll be on my list of most difficult words for me to pronounce. And I trust me, I've looked them up to get the correct one. So with nudibranch being one of them, I'm never sure if it's nudibranch or nudibranch. And then mustache, too, is one of those that is a little tricky. But here we go. Nudibranch, nudibranch. Mabel had no idea what a nudibranch was, but if she was one, the only thing to do was hide. Oh. I hope that you never feel like that. So she frittered away, who knows how long, hiding in holes along the ocean floor. Oh. So she frittered away, who knows how long, hiding in holes along the ocean floor. Oh, poor Mabel. Until Mabel realized she was not alone. Who are you? She asked. I am Lucky, said the giant eye. Who are you? I am Mabel. Why are you here, Mabel? Why are you here? Mabel asked. Because I only have 7 legs. Well, that sure sounds like a lot of legs. Well, I'm supposed to have 8, said Lucky. Oh. What can you do with 8 legs that you can't do with 7? Mabel asked. Count to 8, said Lucky. I can teach you how to count to 8, said Mabel. Oh. Mabel actually helped Lucky count all the way up to 88. And Lucky sort of taught Mabel how to juggle. Oh. Can you count to 88? 100? Then they pretended to be king and queen of the corals. Oh. Nudibranchs, Nudibranchs. Everybody still kept calling them names. Oh. Sorry, said Lucky. I leak when I'm scared. That's okay, said Mabel. What's a nudibranch? Nudibranchs are sea slugs, said Lucky. Oh, said Mabel. So that's why they're awful. They aren't awful, silly, said Lucky. Nudibranchs are amazing. Yes, I am amazing. You are amazing. Oh. Suddenly, Mabel realized everything she ever really needed. Suddenly, Mabel realized that everything she ever needed really was already right under her nose. Yay. I wonder what comes after 88. Well, let's find out. And that is the end. Oh, thank you indeed for joining in Story Time. So glad we were here together for this one. And it is called Mabel, a mermaid fable. Indeed, a story about acceptance and also, belonging, and also just realizing that you are beautiful and you bring such amazing, you're amazing. You bring yourself just the way you are to every space that you walk into. And of course, I hope that you find those spaces of others that like that share with you, that believe in you, and that want to celebrate you. And thank you so much for joining in. As you can see in here too, that sometimes we all need that support system, and just like Mabel and Lucky did, they found their support system and they allowed them to thrive and definitely face up to all the challenges that were set before them. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. I am glad we were here together, and indeed this is Pride Month, and lots of learning for lots of people, but we want to make sure that indeed we understand what's going on. We understand our neighbors, our fellow citizens in our communities, and that everybody has a right to be who they are, and everybody belongs. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time, and I'm glad that we have this wonderful book that we shared today from ROWBOAT Watkins, and of course coming to you as well from Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you so much for joining in, and indeed may we have friends that can correct us or remind us when we're doing something that is not quite right. Just like here, as we see, Mabel mentions that the nudibranchs are awful, and Lucky quickly points out, no, they're amazing, and it is just about learning about everybody else and around us, and that way we can definitely be better neighbors. Thank you so much for joining in. I am glad we were here this week together, enjoying many great books, and of course this one too, to round off our week. Mabel, a mermaid fable. This one coming to you from ROWBOAT Watkins and Chronicle Books of San Francisco. I just keep saying that name forever. Thank you so much for joining in. Are there any words that you find hard to pronounce, or are never sure, or even when like the very next time you see it, you've forgotten what it is? So for me, definitely mustache and nudibranch are part of that list. There are a few others too that I'm like, oh, what is it again? And then a few times I have to remind myself and just keep trying. Thank you so much for joining in. And yes, indeed, I love the friend hellos that are going on in the background as well. Thank you so much, Marietta, and of course Pamela Courtney. Love it. Thank you for being here. And Pamela Courtney, you say sweet book, wonderful lesson, and no swim lessons, want you, Pam. Well, it is only getting hotter, Auntie Pam, so definitely I feel like the beach and the swimming pools will be calling very, very soon. And out here in Oakland today, it is going to be hot, so I'm pretty sure there's some people that will be out at the swimming pools. Thank you so much for joining in and sharing that little bit. Oh, love this one. Thank you. Oh, absolutely. Amanda, we appreciate you. You're amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Baby Bia, hugs, and love to you. And you say thanks for this wonderful community. Indeed, thank you to you all for this amazing community, for this space that you've created. It is wonderful to be here with you every morning, and just appreciate all your insights and indeed just your laughs, and you make me laugh every time, and I can only imagine every time I imagine your sweet laughs on the other side. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Highly appreciated. And this is a place of peace for me, a place of strength, and indeed a place of encouragement. So I hope that it feels like that for you too. Thank you so much for being here. Niche, yes, indeed, that is one for sure. Thank you, Amanda. And indeed, may we continue to struggle with those words, the beautiful words, and it's an enjoyable struggle it is. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Absolutely appreciate you. It has been lovely being here together this week. And of course, God willing, We're back next week, Monday through Friday, for more exciting stories. And please, if you miss story time, or if indeed you need something to, some voice to keep you company as you go about your different activities this weekend, remember that you can find story time in the archives. Dig it up, find that interview that we did, find that wonderful book that we read, and indeed enjoy it together. Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely appreciate you. I hope that you have a lovely week, and I hope that you continue to find those places of support. You find those places that make you feel welcome, and indeed may we also in turn help in creating spaces that are welcoming to others. Thank you so much. Happy Pride Month, and thank you indeed for being here on Storytime with all the wonderful stories we continue to share. And please do send those recommendations so we can continue to share and bring the joy to Storytime. Thank you so much for being here. Much love from me. Hugs to each and every one of you that was here indeed. And if you're joining us for the recordings later on, we're sending you love and positive vibes and wishing you a wonderful weekend. Please do join us again for more Storytime next week. And of course, visit our Instagram, visit our stories, and get to enjoy all the little bits that we put out there and see what's coming up to Storytime. Thank you so much. And big news too, look out, Storytime may be in your area very, very soon. Fingers crossed, big news coming up. So please hold that space, hold that thought, and please, as the dates are released, please be sure to mark those calendars. Thank you so much for joining in, and hopefully see you in your area very, very soon. But for now, hopefully see you on Monday for more story time. Much love, and bye-bye.
Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon.
Hi, Shirley.
Story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be